interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast. The German news agency Transocean said today in a broadcast.
Here's another late development, and this news keeps coming in.
What is up, Kryptonians, and welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about the brand new Superman movie, and you guys know I had to get the Superman cape out for this one. We are talking about the new Superman movie directed by James Gunn. Stars David Corenswet as the Man of Steel, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Talented supporting cast too. You've got Wendell Pierce, you've got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, Ed Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, and also Krypto, a very good boy, is in this movie as well. I'll keep it simple when it comes to the story for this movie. When Lex Luthor comes up with a plan to destroy Superman and the city, it's up to Superman to reconcile the two sides of his Kryptonian and human heritage to try to come up with a way to stop Luthor and to save Metropolis and the world from the threat. This was a long time coming. Believe it or not, this is our first solo Superman movie since 2013's Man of Steel. Obviously, you see the hat, you see the cape, you see the, well, you don't see the shirt, but here it is. Everybody knows what a huge, ridiculous Superman fanboy I am, but even I had reservations about this one. I'm not the biggest James Gunn fan. I think I've made that pretty clear on all my social medias. He's very hit or miss for me as a director. Not all of the trailers grabbed me. Not all of them made me excited to see it, but you know what? I did what I always do. I went into a movie that I had mixed expectations on, and I just hoped for the best and planned for the worst, and now here we are talking about it. I am not here to tell you that they prepared a full course meal for us, but did they cook? Yeah, they kind of cooked. The main dish is David Corenswet as Superman. This guy is the whole entree. He's the whole buffet when it comes to Superman. David is Superman, and you're gonna hear that in a lot of reviews around the country, around the world, or whatever. And it's just true. It's just the facts. It's super facts if you want to go that far. David perfectly encapsulates what I feel about this character and why I love this character so much. He is everything about the spirit and the essence of Superman all rolled into one adaptation. He's gentle and he's kind. He's powerful and badass at times, but he's also very vulnerable, kind of like Superman the Animated Series. He's very expressive. He's very sincere. He's maybe got a little bit of immaturity, maybe like New 52, or maybe even sometimes like Smallville Clark Kent, but he's also very charismatic at different points. The point of this Superman is that he cares about everybody. Every life is important to Superman, no matter how big or small, even if it's an animal or an enemy. That is Superman. Physically, he fills the part, and just everything else about the character, the way he inspires, the way he embodies the ideal of hope, like that is Superman. And David just, he crushes it. He nails it in this movie. Likewise, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, she was amazing. She crushed it too. She was one of the best adaptations of Lois that I've ever seen. She was spunky, and she was sassy, and she was fierce, and she was also just complicated. She did bring that cynicism. I thought her chemistry with David was great. I thought that they pushed and pulled each other. There was a magnetism there. There was spice, there was sizzle, there was spark, a relationship that challenged each of them in different ways, and I like that. That was a real aspect to their relationship that I appreciated seeing on screen. But you know what the best decision might have been for this movie? Casting Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. He's amazing. Nicholas Hoult nails Lex Luthor. Just like David is Superman, Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor after this movie. It reminds me of the best parts of Michael Rosenbaum or Clancy Brown's Lex Luthor from the animated series. This man is a generational hater. Like, you have maybe never seen a bigger hater than Lex Luthor is in this movie. Everything about him exudes distaste, disdain, and flat out hatred for Superman, and he conveys that so well on screen. We've seen some great haters in our day. I mean, from Skip Bayless to Azalea Banks to Kendrick Lamar to a certain degree. Lex in this movie might put all of them to shame, and it's also maybe the most hateable and despicable that Lex has been in live action.
Don't worry, guys. I plan on speaking about the Justice Gang in my spoiler review. For this review, I wanted to focus on Superman, Lois, and Lex, but don't worry. I'll be talking about the Justice Gang soon enough.
I think James Gunn is working with a cinematographer named Henry Branham. I feel like in this film, he kind of refined his look and what he was going for with his technique. And obviously the wide lens, the fisheye lens is still here. And I'll be honest, it looks a lot better in the movie than it looked in some of the trailers. And I like the movie visually. It has a bright, vibrant color palette. The movie also has some of my favorite shots of Superman or favorite Superman related shots that I've seen in any movie or any TV show ever. And I think that's saying a lot. There's also a lot of dynamic and kinetic camera work in this movie. The camera is always constantly in motion, sometimes even when people are talking. Shit that this camera was doing in the third act was insane, and you gotta see it to believe it. Really captured how fast and powerful Superman is when he's in motion as well, and I like the way the camera always felt like it was trying to catch up to Superman. And of course, this extends to the action scenes as well. The action scenes in this movie are really awesome. Like I said, sometimes they capture how powerful Superman is, sometimes they capture how beatable he is. There's tons of action pretty much from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end. I think what also helps that is the score. Now, granted, I do still wish that they had more of an original sound for the score in this movie. The John Williams score is iconic, obviously. John Murphy also adds some things, tweaks some things. Honestly, it works in the movie. It really makes certain moments come across as more hopeful, more optimistic, more badass than maybe they otherwise would have. The movie does have levity, but it feels like it balances sincerity and levity better than most of Gunn's other films. Also, keep in mind, this is not just superheroes being put into a real world situation. This is a comic book world. It is fantastical. It is full go. There's a bunch of wild, crazy, goofy shit that happens in a comic book world, and for the people in this movie, it's probably just an average Tuesday or whatever. It's like a comic book in the sense that you're dropped into the story and then you kind of just have to see what happens and catch up from there. If there's a way to describe this movie, the best way I can describe it is that it's like an extended episode of Justice League Unlimited or the Superman animated series. As a Superman fan, it's everything that I maybe hoped it maybe could be, and a little bit more in some spots. Having said that, there are some things that it drops the ball on. I do think you walk out of this movie and the biggest takeaway is that the movie is not paced very well. The movie is 2 hours long, and honestly, it should have been 10 to 15 to 20 minutes longer, and that's not just for selfish reasons. That's for reasons that I do think would have actually helped and benefited the movie. Like, this movie feels very bloated. It feels like it has a lot of characters, a lot of subplots and storylines going on, but I don't know if that's just because of the pacing or if the pacing feels weird because it's bloated. It's kind of a chicken or the egg type of thing. It affects things. It affects characters in the movie. One of the biggest victims of this is Clark Kent. Clark Kent is actually not in the movie that much. Clark Kent has a few scenes, and they're great scenes for sure, but you walk away going, we needed more Clark in this movie. We also needed more from the Daily Planet characters. Outside of Jimmy and Lois, a lot of them are just kind of there, and they don't really get much to do. The Kents also suffer from this as well. The Kents are in the movie for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. They maybe have like 2 or 3 scenes. The lack of time for a lot of these characters, it affects things later in the movie from a narrative perspective. There are certain narrative choices that they try to go with later in the movie, and it just doesn't have the same impact as it would have if they had allowed scenes to breathe, if they had allowed moments to marinate a little bit. There are some geopolitical things that this movie's trying to accomplish. Unfortunately, in the story, it kind of plays it safe. It kind of dips its toes in the waters of more serious thematic material, and then it kind of just goes, it's too hot in that pool. Let's go over here to the 6 feet and under edge of the pool. I thought that the story would be a little bit more bold, a little bit more ambitious, and there were hints of that, but they never follow through on any of that, and I feel like that's a valid critique for the film. I will also say it is a James Gunn movie, so you know there's gonna be humor, there's gonna be jokes. I thought there are still some jokes and some humor that didn't land with me, but being that humor is subjective, I don't expect every review to say that. There is one narrative choice in the film that affects the lore of Superman, and I've seen the movie twice now, and it bothered me both times. It is a narrative choice, to be fair, that's been done before, but I don't like what the movie is saying specifically about one specific aspect of Superman's character that, again, if I talk about, is gonna feel like a spoiler. Also, there are nitpicks in this movie that I have as a Superman fan that probably don't really hold up as nitpicks of the film overall. I'll probably get more into those nitpicks and other things in a spoiler video in a few days, but for now, just suffice it to say, I think Gunn makes certain decisions with the story and with some of the characters that I don't really understand, and he does something that he always does that irritates me, that I again can't talk about. Also, this movie does bring up some questions, not just in the universe for this movie, but in the universe big picture going forward. They're not like, oh cool, I can't wait to see this questions. I mean, there are those as well. There are questions where I'm just kind of like, wait a minute, how is this gonna, why did this, maybe you guys just haven't explained it yet. Like, there are those type of questions that pop up here. I don't think this movie's gonna be for everybody. Obviously, some people are gonna view it as too goofy, too comic booky. I think we have a great new Superman, a great new Lois, a great new Lex for a new generation. I am excited to see what the DCU has to hold now. Like, I'm excited to see what their plan is going forward, and I don't know that I was before this movie. Superman was a damn good time at the movies. I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Tell me, have you seen seen it? What did you think about it? Where would you rank this movie among the Superman movies that we've gotten so far? Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.